Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I come with a little makeup basic video. Well, it's not that basic to be honest with you. It is, as you saw in the title, about a cut crease. Now, I'm doing makeup on a lot of clients and every single day pretty much. And one of the things whenever somebody goes out or has a glamorous event, they're always asking for cut crease. Now, the cut crease, to understand where it comes from, actually has its origins in the theatrical scene, especially amongst drag queens. It was a way of creating a bigger eye and with that more of a feminine look, because you can just, trick the eye to make it look like you have big, beautiful feminine eyes. Now from there it went into beauty industry or the beauty makeup community, and then from there also in social media. And amongst social media, if you just put in the hashtag cut crease, you find millions and millions of looks. And whenever I do it on some people, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I could never do it. It is so difficult. And being honest, it's not that difficult. You just need to know what to do and a little bit of practice. But once you've done it a couple of times, it is super, super easy and definitely gives a very glamorous look always to the makeup. So if you want to know and learn how to achieve a cut crease, then just stick around. Alright guys, I scooped you a little bit closer, and as you see, I done everything off my makeup. I left a little bit more excess powder underneath my eyes just in case I have any fallout. This will catch it and I can just wipe it away. But if you have a heavy hand or you use shadows that are very, very powdery, you should start with your eyes and then do the rest of your makeup. Now, whenever you do a cut crease, I always recommend doing a liner. So if you have a hard time doing a liner on yourself, my recommendation would be using a little bit of Scotch tape. If you're a professional makeup artist, please don't do this on your clients. It's just something, if you do it on yourself and you find it hard to get that really sharp line, that's a really good trick to do, but you will have to do that as well before you do all of your face makeup, because otherwise you take off the tape and you have removed half of your makeup. But test it on a spot where you cannot really see it, on your arm, maybe on the back of your neck, just in case you have any kind of like sensitivity to it and you are breaking out, because you don't want to have any rash around your eye. Now, but if you are pretty good with makeup and pretty good with eyeshadow, you can do the rest of your makeup beforehand. Now, I already did also my eyebrows. I like to do my eyebrows before I do any eye makeup, just so it gives me a guideline on how far I want to go out, how high I can blend, because some people, they have a huge eye space and they can blend and blend and blend and blend, and some people, they don't have no eye space. So doing your eyebrows first gives you already a good idea on how much room you have, and do as much of an arch as you can. You want to create as much room as possible, just so the blend is a little bit more perfected. Now, first things you want to do is priming. Now you can use any kind of primer. Some are clear, some are with color. I personally prefer them who have a little bit of color because they even out any discoloration. Now comes tip number one. You want to use your primer. I'm using the Paint Pot Soft Ochre, but you don't want to apply it all over. And I'll tell you why. So I'm just taking a little bit, and what I do is I actually just dot it right all over the brow bone area up to the socket line. And the reason is I still want to keep that eyelid as free as possible, because I will go ahead, and that's when we create the cut crease by using the same product again. So prime just from the socket line up to the brow bone. Now next you want to use any kind of light matte shadow, as close to your skin color or a little bit brighter. So I'm going and I'm using the whole Modern Renaissance palette for the tutorial today, and I'm using this lightest shade in here. It's called Tempera, and I'm using a fluffy brush for this. This is a Morphe brush. This one is the M518. And I'm just digging my brush a little bit in here, and then you want to set it. So you apply it all over where you just used the primer. So from socket line pretty much up to the brow. Because it is much easier to blend any shadow on top of powder product than it is to on top of cream product. Because sometimes cream products, they grip to the product and then you have like a patch of strong pigmentation and you cannot blend it away. All right, next tip is how and where to put the socket line. For different eye shapes, you have to do different things. If you have an almond shape like I do, you can stay within your shape or do a little bit of a overdraw pretty much, so you create an artificial socket line. If you have hooded eyes or if you have Asian eyes, then definitely overdraw that. And if you have deep set eyes, don't overdraw it, because usually you already have a lot of room and you don't want to accentuate that because it kind of like gets off balance. Now, if you have a hard time to find your socket line, because your socket line is not where the eyelid folds. So like right here, do you see how my eyelid has like a little fold right there? This is not my socket line. If I tilt my head back and just look down, actually right above that, that's where the socket line is. This is where the eyeball folds back into the bone pretty much. So this is where you want to create your socket line, or a little bit above. But again, not if you have deep set eye. For that, you want to start with your medium tone shades. I prefer mattes. It just gives better of an illusion of socket eye, like a shadow. If you use any shimmery product, it kind of like breaks the illusion. So for that, you want to use any kind of like medium tone shades. It don't has to be a brown, it can be purple, blue, green, but choose a medium toned matte shade. Now I'm going in with raw sienna, same palette. And for me personally, my favorite brush is the 217 from MAC. It's almost like an oval shaped blending brush. So holding it, how can I describe that? Like if you have it, don't use the white side upside down, like you want to trace it in the socket line. So what I do is I tilt my head back, look down into my mirror, place it in the socket line, and do little wind swipe motions, zigzagging it slowly in, going all the way to that inner corner. And then I just keep on doing those wind swipe motions to deposit the product. Now don't worry too much about what happens on your eyelid, because we clean that up anyway. Now after you've done wind swipe motions, hold the center of the brush in the socket line and do circular motions. Those circular motions will help to blur out the product in all directions evenly. Now, after you've done that, go as dark as you want. The darker you go, the more stronger will the cut crease appear. It's like if you would do a cut crease now with just like a medium tone shade, it will look more softer, maybe a little bit more daytime, but overall, honestly, cut creases are more for nighttime, going out, a little bit more glamorous. So just make sure that the rest of the makeup is appropriate. Like don't use just a tinted moisturizer and a lip balm and then do like a crazy cut crease. It overpowers the look. So choose wisely for what occasion, how the rest of your makeup looks like too. Next, I personally go in with Realgar. That is this warm terracotta shade. And now I'm tracing it exactly at the same line, my socket line. But this time I don't blend it out and up too much. I keep a little bit more focus in that socket line. And to create even more depth, I'm going in with this dark, almost eggplant-y kind of color. It's called Red Ochre. And same thing. Now comes the part of cutting the crease. And this is really, really important to choose your right tool and give yourself a minute, a breather, because you have to focus. So what is a right brush? You want to use any kind of brush that looks like this. So it should be more flat and stiff, and it should have not a too sharp line. It should be a little bit ovally rounded, almost like a fingernail. Now, those are brushes that are not so much recommended. So like this one, for example, has a really, really flat edge to it. Then we have this one, what is very, very big. You have to have a giant eye to actually create a cut crease with that. or something that is too fluffy. Like this one, it's just not stiff enough, so it kind of like, you don't have as much control. Now, I'm choosing this one today. This one was from my makeup school I went. At the 242 from MAC would be ideal. I just don't find it. I have it, but I don't find it. Now it's time to go back into your primer or concealer, because you want something with color. You need to cover. So I'm loading up one side of my brush, and now you choose how high you want to go with your cut crease. So you tilt your head back, and then what you want to do is you start in that inner corner and you drag that brush along that socket line. You know what? I need a hand mirror. I cannot do it that way. I'm sitting too far away from my mirror. Let me see if I can do it with this one from the Anastasia palette. There was still like a protector on it. Anyway, yeah, that's much better. All right, so I'm going from that inner corner and almost do like a half moon. Tilt your head back and look down into the mirror. And there you have it. That's how you cut the crease. Now I keep that outer corner not too defined because I'm smoking that out anyway after I've done the liner. But that inner corner, you see it's really sharp and defined, and that's how you want to have it. And I personally like it, like when you look straight towards me, you can still see a little bit of that cut right above my socket line. So I'm going a little bit over because with age, everything goes south. So my eyelid starts to slowly go and droop a little bit down. This way I cheat a little bit more open. Now, also another tip, if you have very hooded eyes, please keep your eyes as closed as possible, because as soon as you open and kind of like your lash line hits up, it kind of like can get mushy or, you know, defeats the purpose of getting really sharp. Now, next you want to set it. And for that, you can actually then go and take a fluffy brush. So I'm just taking the MAC 239 and I'm using Primavera. What is a nice champagne color. And then what I do is I'm pressing it all over where I just used that primer. And this way, I'm making sure it doesn't go anywhere. And then I like personally to highlight a little bit the inner tear dot area. So I'm using Vermeer and same brush and just brighten a little bit that inner corner. And there you have it. That's how you create the cut crease. So I'm going ahead, I do some liner off camera really quick, and then I continue giving you a couple of more insights how to really make that cut crease look glamorous, professional, and yeah, polished. So now I've done my liner. It's not a masterpiece, but it will do. I personally like to smoke out the outer corner a little bit. And for that, I'm using Cyprus Umber. It's the dark chocolate brown in here. And I'm using a smaller definer brush. This one is the M506. And then what I do is I just set it right here on the outer corner and drag it from the liner slightly into that socket line. It gives it just that little bit of smokiness I feel it needs to get more of a sultry look to the eye. Now I want to use something today that I haven't used in forever, the Stila. Those are the metallic eyeshadow things. What are they called? Magnificent eyeshadow, whatever. You will find it in the info box. What it is, this one is in the color Kitten Karma. And this is just gives drama to the eye. I just use it on that inner part right here. What I really like about them is that you have a lot of control where you go. So even with the cut crease, you don't go over that line. Now, I always feel when you do have a heavy top part, you need to smoke out the bottom. So what I just do, I go in with the darkest color, Cyprus Umber, on that same 239 brush, but I'm just using the tip of the brush. And I'm running it on my lower lash line. And I am a big fan of efficiency, so I'm just taking my used 217 and run it over it to buff it out. Now that all the eyeshadow is done, I'm taking my powder brush and see, can just wipe away any fallout. Last but not least, when you have such a dramatic eye, I feel it needs a lash. Now choose also a lash that is appropriate for your eye shape. If you have more of a hooded eye, you might want to use a little bit more of a finer, more natural lash, so that when you open your eyes, the lash and the liner and everything is not covering the whole cut crease. But because I'm dramatic, I'm using those are the iconic from House of Lashes, and I'm using my favorite Diorshow iconic Overcurl. That's what I'm doing off camera now too, and then I see you after the tutorial. And that is the end of the tutorial. I hope this really helped you. I know it's a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to go step by step so you understand how you can create a cut crease on yourself. And you see, it's really just about knowing where to place the product and what brushes work and what products work. So after you know that, it's now up to you. You have all the tools you need to recreate it, to learn, to practice. And trust me, if you do it a couple of times, you will master this in no time. Now, if you like this video, if you liked my little teaching moment, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it. Share it with your friends, go on social media, share it on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever you are active, and let people know who would benefit from this. Maybe you have a friend, maybe a sister, maybe a daughter who always said, oh God, this cut crease looks amazing, but I don't know how to do it. Show them this video and let them know there's somebody out who shows you how to do it. And please, most importantly, of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel. It really helps me and benefits me, and it's for free. It doesn't cost you 1 cent to subscribe to me, and it really means the world. Thank you again so much for watching this video, and until I see you guys next time, I hope you have now a wonderful day and enjoy.